Ayo, back at it again with another video. Thank you all for watching. I greatly appreciate it. So, this video is about Dunkirk, and I've done a movie review. I did it for All Quiet on the Western Front, the Netflix adaptation, and I said, it was one of the greatest movies I've seen in a long time, and I stand by that. However, one of another great movie that I have just had the opportunity to rewatch recently is Dunkirk, and Dunkirk, released in 2017, an hour and 46 minutes long. I'm a huge Harry Styles fan, so this is just bonus for me that he got in there. Cillian Murphy, love him as what's that? Peaky Blinders. That's what it is. I couldn't remember why. I don't know why that was eluding me, but Peaky Blinders, Cillian Murphy, Tom Hardy. This lineup right here is just legendary. Anyways, it's directed by Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan's a amazing director, producer. Depicts the Dunkirk evacuation of the Second World War. Accordingly, 527 million worldwide, which is a lot. Highest grossing World War II film ever. Also in the days of where films are making billions of dollars. That's actually pretty good. 527 million. Love Harry Styles. Goated. I love that that's the picture for him on Wikipedia. Cillian Murphy, Tom Hardy. Love Tom Hardy. Yeah, it's just got poster right here. So a little bit about Dunkirk. So we're going to look at the geography. So we got most of the Maginot Line, basically from Luxembourg all the way down towards Karlsruhe, down towards Switzerland. Luxembourg down to Stuttgart area, down towards Switzerland. If you've been with the channel long enough, you realize that I studied abroad in Stuttgart. Well, I actually studied abroad in Reutlingen. So I know the area pretty decently. I traveled around to Stuttgart, Karlsruhe, Heidelberg, Mannheim, a little bit in Strasbourg. So much of the Maginot Line was basically this part of the French border that kind of looks weirdly like a greater than sign. And you can kind of see it. It's kind of like a 45-degree angle right here. If you're looking at it, from a math perspective. So that's mostly where the Maginot Line is. So the Schlieffen Plan of the First World War, if we skip over to this tab, basically the French thought that Versailles, Paris, Compiègne, Amiens, Reims, Verdun, that way instead of going through it towards this direction. And then, what's going on? There we go, never mind. All right, then they thought that that's exactly the route that the Germans would take in the Second World War. So the Maginot Line's down here. You got three German army groups. You got Lièvre, Rundstedt, and von Bock. And then push into the Netherlands. The French and British push up because that's where they think, they think it's a repeat of the Schlieffen Plan. And then Rundstedt basically punches through Luxembourg, the Ardennes force in this area, and punches up towards Dunkirk. And the Brits and the French realize they're trapped, essentially. So they thought the Germans would punch from this direction down towards Brussels and then down towards this way, kind of like a Schlieffen Plan, World War I style. But in reality, they punched this way and then up towards this way and then that way, basically trapping all the forces at the port of Dunkirk. Obviously they could have gone towards Calais in the Pas de Calais region, but French and British forces were trapped at Dunkirk. And this movie does a fantastic job. Again, 1940, Allied soldiers retreat. It's talking about Tommy, a young British private, is the sole survivor of a German ambush, and at the beach he finds thousands of troops awaiting evacuation. And the Germans stop their tanks and ultimately have their dive bombers, otherwise known as Stuka, Stuka dive bombers, ultimately try and pick them off on the beach. But one of the best parts about this film is the soundtrack, the audio. Obviously, it has nominations for Best Picture, Best Director, but ultimately, and very well deserving, it went on to win for Best Sound Editing, Sound Mixing, and the Editing. The aesthetic, the sound, the everything of the film is beautiful. The aesthetic of the film is, the visuals and the audio is phenomenal. That's part of the reason why I liked the Netflix adaptation of All Quiet on the Western Front, because you have all this sound design, audio, splicing and whatnot. So I gotta say, Dunkirk is, in my opinion, a cinematic masterpiece. I think it's they did a great job at bringing this battle and this part of the war to life. It's a really great film. Personally, it's not my favorite World War II film. I gotta say that either is Band of Brothers or Monuments Men or maybe one other one. But I gotta say Dunkirk, in my view, is a cinematic masterpiece. And Christopher Nolan and the entire cast, it was phenomenal. So I rewatched that recently because I had free time and I wanted to rewatch it. And it's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. With that being said, that is the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Deuces.